Hey, happy weekend, everyone. All right.
What up?
What up?
Can you
Hey,
hear me okay?
I hear you fine. I hope you all
Yeah,
hear us.
I
Let us
switched over to my headphones quick.
And hey, before we
Woo.
get started, I need to share my sympathies with Brandon. What's up,
Uh-oh.
man? You're injured? You got a football injury? What happened here?
Yeah, no. I tore a ligament in my foot, so I am out of basketball, man. I had a sprained ankle. I rested it for like a month, but I didn't do very good rehab. I wasn't sure that there was a serious injury. And I went out just to warm up in a pickup. I played one game. I felt good. And then next week I played a pickup game and I stepped real hard and just completely tore a ligament in my foot. It popped. And so now I have to have surgery, which means,
Oh
hey, maybe we'll get some more
man.
YouTube videos and less basketball and coaching. So
Uh,
yeah,
are you
I'll be
gonna?
all right.
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And maybe you can have your wife deliver food and
Yeah. Oh,
breakfast
she's
in
definitely
bed.
going to. Yeah. This is going to be painful for her more than me.
Hey, I know where you're at. The tables were flipped when my wife was out for 2.5 months. I had to do the kid duty. Oh man, I tell you, it's
Yeah.
rough.
It's a lot.
It's rough.
Yeah. Luckily, it's my left foot, so that my right foot can still, hit the pedals on the car. I'll just have a walking boot on after the surgery, a cast, and then a walking boot.
All right, yeah,
What are you
that
gonna
makes
do,
sense.
man? What are you gonna do?
Hey, life happens. At
Yeah.
least you're still around, right? It could be a lot
Oh
worse. I'll
yeah,
tell
it
you
could be
that,
a
man.
lot worse
It
for
could be a
sure.
lot worse. Hey, everyone. Hope you all having a good weekend. So, as we're getting deeper into November and approaching Black Friday, many of you are still on the fence about your TVs. And I've noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, Brian, with your viewers, but the size of their TVs are starting to creep up. Because I used to hear a lot, hey, 55 or 65. Now it's like, I'm going to get a
80,
75
dude,
inch.
it's all our fault. It's our fault.
Well,
I
because
did. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say the prices of a 75 inch, but you take it a tier down, is the same as a 65. And sometimes that ends up being the difference. I don't know. But what were you going to
You know,
say?
I don't know if all the people in this specific, first of all, hit the like button. Really appreciate it. I know people come on, hit the like button if you can. And I don't know if all of our people in here will do it, but that X85J was like down to like $1,200 for an 85-inch TV. So do you see that? That's really
That's
cheap.
that's not bad at all. So it's down to how much did you say?
I saw it for $1,299.
12.99. Let me
It was
see.
like 1,700. Now let me see if it's still that because I don't want to like give
Oh,
false
yeah,
information.
because the last time I had it on this
Let
one,
me check.
it
Yeah.
was 2000, and that was about a week and a half ago. I didn't check today because I was doing the 75 inch today. Yeah, if that's updated, let me know. We need to get that out there. That's not a bad price at all, actually.
Yeah, 12.99 on best 12.99.
Ah, twelve ninety
Down well,
nine.
it says 15.99, but I think it was like more like 17, but it
Well,
says
still,
12.99 here. I'll share it just so people can see.
yeah. Check it out.
You know how that is. I got to like separate it, then I got to go in here and then I got to share it. You know what though? This is really good. Like StreamYard is awesome. It really is nice. All right, so there we go.
All right.
So there you go. X85J. X85. And now it is the older processor from last year, right? But it is 4K at 120 though.
Oh, for regular streaming and watching, I think it's fine. Now, I think Classy, he did an 85J and said the color was a little off, right?
Yeah,
But at
he's
this
definitely
price, you can't complain. I mean, this is
yeah. I
such
mean,
a
I'm
good
just like
price.
he's a stickler because he does
Hear that,
calibration.
Classy? Come on, man, you're a stickler.
No,
What do you think, really?
listen. He's got high expectations, and that's fair. And I don't think that this is FALD. I don't know if it's local dimming, right?
It isn't.
I think
It isn't.
But what I'm saying is, could you find a better TV for $12.99? I don't think so.
I
At 85
not
inch.
85 inches.
You
I
know what I
could
mean?
not agree more.
This is
Yeah.
like that TCL last year. I think the TCL 5.
So what is
Was it
that?
the
That's
6?
at 1,300. Let me adjust
$1,300.
that real quick because that's important enough. That this is totally awesome.
Yeah, it says Classy said half res at 120. I'm not sure. They just cut it down when they do 100.
Yeah.
Oh, is that for gaming?
For gaming, yeah. But for regular watching, man.
As I just made a video on my top 4, OLEDs, and I did that video. People are enjoying the video. Thank you for watching. If you have watched it, if not,
I'm like,
check it out. The OLED battle. And what I was saying in there is I'm fine with gaming at 4K 60. I don't, like I played some games at 4K 120 and I don't really even notice, but so I think for the majority of the people that may choose like the X85J just because it's like their living room TV, it's good enough. I haven't seen a Sony of that price get an 8.1 on ratings.com. Like it's really highly rated.
Yeah.
Even last year, I think the X900H only got an 8.1 on ratings. So this TV right here has the same score that the X900H had last year, which was an extremely popular TV. So I think this TV is outperforming that price for sure. And it's a Sony and it's solid. So
And
I think that's a great deal.
No, I agree. I just updated our
you can pull this
little
off.
matrix
Go ahead,
here real quick.
You
Let
want
me
to pop
throw
it
that
up?
in.
Oh, sorry,
Yep.
dude.
I'm gonna pop it right now. Let's make sure it's updated right there.
This is the problem when two people have controls. Then
I'm almost ready, so let me go start it.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
There we go. All right. Okay, now we can start talking. All right, guys. If you guys asked a question, we missed it. Try asking again because like all this stuff happening. Okay, so there it is, 1300 X85J. And if you look at it, if you go down the line, I would choose the X85J at 85 inches over the $1,200 IPS U7G. Now the TCL 6 Series 1300, it's brighter, but it's smaller and it's less color accurate out of the box, most likely. Something for you guys to consider. But yeah, let's just jump into the 75-inch real quick, guys. So,
Sure,
because I
man.
thought these deals are kind of cool. Okay, so the OLEDs are still the same as far as both of these. I think the Sony can stand to drop a little bit by Black Friday, but this is what you're going to see now, which is pretty good considering it used to be like the Sony A9G still over 4,000, which is crazy for the 77-inch. But of course, if you have this money, you know what you're going to get. Now, this is what I forgot to mention. Dude, the Q90T is still available.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw it in there because if it's still available, that's a good TV. That's less expensive than the $2,600 Q98, which we know is good. The question is it better than the $2,000 IPS? You've seen the IPS, and most people don't like it off angle, right? And I know that KG loves the Q90T. And I would suspect that I think you go with the Q90T in this case because it's a VA panel. But yeah, this is.
Oh, wait, hold on though. Oh yeah, the 75-inch is not VA, but the 85-inch
is
QN85A is a VA. And I've noticed that my QN85A video has picked up quite a bit. So people are looking at it. People are thinking about it. I know Costco, I think, has some of these.
They do. They have the 85.
Some of these. Yeah.
They don't
I don't know,
90.
man. Dude, that QN85A is bright though. It is bright. I mean, if you're straight on,
that's it.
We talk about a lot of these other TVs like, the QNEDs and stuff. I wouldn't buy those. I would buy the Samsung before I'd buy the QNED. So the 85A. So I mean,
and also if you're in a room with glare, then it doesn't matter if it has a little bit of blooming. You're not going to see the blooming. If you're in a room that's bright and has glare, blooming is not the issue anymore. It's the anti-glare. And this one has the anti-glare as well as the Q90T. Both of these TVs, and the 90T gets very bright as well. Both of these TVs, all three of them, get super bright in standard mode, which is what you probably have in a bright room with glare anyway. So I think this is a phenomenal price range between 2,000. So here's the funny thing. The 85-inch Q90A has dropped to under 3,000 all year every now and then. They're completely sold out. That's why they're sold out, guys. Even at 3,300, people bought out the Q90A. That's why I can't even recommend it because you can't even get it. And I don't like recommending super large Samsungs because of the possible uniformity issue, So a lot of people are saying it's getting better. The later in the year they got, it was the early part of the year that they had issues. So just keep that in mind. And staying with the 75-inch theme, if you drop down one tier, these are my picks, right? You have the bottom two, least expensive, which I think is such a solid price for super bright TVs that you will have to work a little. The Roku one is more color accurate out of the box, less work, but it doesn't get as bright and the blacks don't get as deep as the Google TV 6 series. And of course, if you want just perfect color out of the box, you always have the X90J. There's something for everyone. And I think these three represent the best within this price range. So, and let's see here. Oh, look at this soundbar matrix. I had to choose something within that breakdown because all people are asking, well, for the price, whatnot. Now, I know not all the soundbars are there. These are what I've kind of hand selected based on what I've seen, as well as the ratings review, as well as my
Nice.
personal interaction with HTA9 and the Samsung. At the high end, I don't think anyone will argue right now. The Samsung 950A is definitely one of the best sounding soundbars you could buy. Cost no object if you want a soundbar. It comes with a subwoofer. And right there at 1100, JBL 9 is so close, but $600 cheaper. Another no brainer. And I like the Sony HTA 9 because no soundbar at all, right? But if you go, I want people, if they can't afford the JBL 9 at around 1,000, they just go under 500 and get the mono price for $300. The SB600 has a subwoofer, and the TCL 6 Plus has a subwoofer for $100. And then if you really go cheap, at $60, the 60L6, TCL 6 is the same system, just without the sub. So I think this kind of covers everyone's price range to a certain degree. If I'm missing anything, let me know. But I think this kind of covers the best of each range.
There's a couple we should throw in there in the $1,000 range. And I think a lot of people are looking at the Bose 900 versus the Sonos Arc, because both of those speakers are like $900 or $800.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a ton of questions like HTA 9 versus the Sonos
I'll
Arc versus the Bose. But, I had a couple clients, and I wasn't able to check out KG's video yet about his comparison between the Sonos Arc and the Bose 900. But I have had clients tell me that they prefer the sound quality of the Bose 900 or the 700, but they didn't have, it didn't have Atmos at the time.
Well, let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just going to ask you this question. At 1,000, neither of those have a subwoofer, right? That's without the subwoofer. So if you add the subwoofer, like the JBL 9, and it's maybe 1,100, do you think that would sound better than either the Sonos or the Bose without the subwoofer?
Well, I've actually seen comparisons, like Jonah Mathis, that buddy of mine that does that. He thinks that the Sonos Arc with the sub for 1,800 with the surrounds, it's $1,800, is better than the Q950A from Samsung. Nice. So he's put it above both of those.
I'll enter that in then for sure.
But I mean, that's everyone's opinion. It's like, know. But yeah, I think it's 1,856 for the Sonos Arc, the sub, and the two ones. And then the Bose 900 is, I believe, $100 more for their new 900, because the 700 from Bose didn't have Atmos, but now the 900 does, and it's got really small upward firing speakers, so who knows how much power gets up on any of these. Sony HTA9 has good upward firing speakers, but I don't think it gives a ton of upward sound either. My ceiling is really tall though, so I don't get as much vertical sound, but man, it's powerful though. It's a powerful system.
And so the Sonos Arc with sub and satellite is 1,900, you say?
It's 1,856, yep.
With all of those, right? Okay.
Correct.
That. Cool. I think the Bose may be the one that's left out in the dark then, because Bose being very similar to the Sonos in price.
Yeah, it's 1,900.
People would just get the Sonos, right? Yeah, it's 1,900. It's a little bit more, right?
Yeah, and I'm a big believer. If you're going to go like that high, I would start to think if like my room or my home has other speakers similarly, because I have nothing to match my Sony HTA9 with. Like I have no other Sony speakers in my house,
right?
So I have like Sonos speakers everywhere, and now it's like I have this random home theater, but it's better. But if you're on the fence and you're like, hey, I got to pick one of these, but I also have a Sonos Beam in my, bedroom, or you have some Sonos 5s or something, then it's like you could just get that Sonos ecosystem too, as well. So,
and there's our update right there. So let me throw that in. Okay, now the Sonos Arc is represented. You're a magician with that.
Look at that. Look at how fast you did it.
I am a PowerPoint jockey, right?
Yeah, you are pretty good at it. What's up, everybody in the comments? What's up? An magician there.
Hey, yeah, let's check out some questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Military PX has a 77-inch A80J for 2,600 3 days ago. I have to agree, man. Prices like this are just so great.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's well, got to thank the military, right? I mean, what more can you say?
Yeah. Happy
Hey,
Veterans Day
Michael.
for those too. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, happy Veterans Weekend. Yeah, definitely.
I know my neighbor who's a veteran. He on Thursday took his big boat out and they went fishing out in the ocean, which is pretty cool. I was a little jealous. We
Nice.
haven't gotten the invite yet, but that's because we just moved in, and I'm sure he's got better friends than us, so that's cool.
You know,
But I
I have to
wish them a
say,
happy Veterans Day.
I wish I spent more time with the Z9J while at the shootout. It didn't play material that would impress me because they were playing materials for dimmer TVs. So I believe the Z9J is an excellent TV, but I wish I had a chance to push it. So
Well,
yeah, no
and
doubt
and
everyone
this
loves it.
and the thing is we were also comparing it to two, really
Yeah.
good TVs as well. So there were three really good TVs there. One of them was $20,000, so it's tough. But I think one on one with that TV, it would probably be quite good.
Yep. Hey, Ernie, it's a great question. Thinking either 85, 98 inch,
Damn.
$15,000. All right. 83-inch 890J, only free with OLED is when you watch live ESPN and Fearful Burn. And the black bottom ticker. So, Ernie, the good news is these things, both Sony and LG address it specifically to reduce that. However, if you watch a lot of ESPN anyway, you're not really benefiting from the amazingness of the A90J OLED, right? You're not benefiting from that extra specular highlight. I'd go with the 98-inch QN98. it's it is 98 inches. You cannot replace that. That's all I could say.
Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
If you got the money to buy a 98-inch TV, it's
go for
interesting
it.
that you're asking us. But yeah, it's a. I mean, I would be interested in getting that.
Yeah.
Um, I really do want to check it out, but who knows? Who knows if I get the opportunity? I would love to get a hold of Samsung. I don't know if Samsung doesn't really reach out to me, but
Nor me.
I want to get that 85-inch QN900A. But yeah,
Hey, when does the 85-inch Trinity drop 2600? Well, every time it
dang,
does, it sells out, my friend. And when it does, it's gone fast. So normally when they have,
2600 even
yeah,
for
Best Buy,
85. Damn.
Best Buy had it for literally less than 3 hours. When there is a promotional price, they have set aside a certain number to get attention to the TV. People buy it up, it's gone. Then it goes up a little bit. Like this time it went 2,600, then went to 3,300. Well, it worked. It's sold out now at 3,300. So if you go and check it, you couldn't even get it at 3,300 anymore. So in order to find the 2,600 for Samsung, you have to refresh all day long. But if you go to the AVS forum, several people got a 2,600 and they were like, yeah, I just got it. And others had it in the cart and they didn't check out in time and it was sold out. So you really got to go shopping for that. Hey,
Yeah, the next
William.
person. There you go, right there.
Yeah, I know, right? I buy there you go, direct from Samsung. So this one is direct from Samsung, delivered. But I'm having buyer's remorse. Is it just me, or did the 75-inch Q90R look better? I'm torn.
Hmm.
I have the Q90R, and I have to tell you, I have told everyone, if you have the Q90R, don't upgrade. If you're getting a bigger TV, like you are, right, 75 to 85, you're getting bigger. But the improvement of the Q90R to the QN90A, yes, it's improved, but it's not get rid of my old TV and replace it improvement. It's more of a little extra color here, maybe a little bit better, just a little bit better control, maybe better motion slightly. We're talking very minor improvements. But the QLED, their big thing is energy efficiency. So same brightness, you spend less energy. That's really it. That's what mini LED brings to the table. But Samsung's already figured out the blooming thing for its flagship. I don't think it's improved it that much personally. And maybe Q90 has a better ARC implementation. And its gaming is FreeSync Premium Pro, which I'm having second thoughts about it working at all. By the way, it's so sad. But uh, its VR implementation is definitely improved out of the box in the Q90A. So it's not, the Q90A not necessarily better, but it's bigger. How about that?
Give me 1 sec. You guys can stare at FOMO's beautiful TV behind me real quick. I gotta just turn the AC off. It's getting so
All right,
cold in
go for
here.
it. No
Give me
problem,
1
man.
sec.
Ah, David, you're committed. 83-inch C1. And OLED generally will have a better vertical banding issues or less vertical banding issues than an equivalent 85-inch LCD. That's just how it is with dirty screen effect and uniformity. It's just a little bit worse on the LCD VA panels that are out right now. So you're more likely to get a better OLED 83-inch than if you want LCD. How about that? Even if it's from Sony.
It's getting cold in here, man.
Oh, David, he's experiencing dimming on the A80J for gaming. There you go. And again, if you're sensitive to it, you're sensitive, right? There's just no way around it. I'm not sensitive to it, but some are.
Dave's having a hard time, man. I've seen some comments. He's basically going through all the OLEDs, I believe. So I think he's went through even a QN90A too, but I feel for him. I think eventually, Dave, you guys got to pick a TV and enjoy it, man. You're not going to have any fun if you keep changing. But
or maybe that is the fun, right? That is
banding on the OLED. Bad is banding. Okay, pink dead pixels. Eesh, a lot of issues. You know, I haven't had any of those issues. Not really any. And also, I had like literally no issue with eARC, no issues with a lot of stuff that people have issues with. So I don't know.
That makes sense to me. And Ernie, it's also what is your watching environment? How much glare and ambient light, all that stuff, right? But the reality is, since it's both flagship Samsung, they both have excellent anti-glare. They're both super bright. So let me see. Was Ernie looking at the 98-inch LG? Was that it, Ernie? You're looking at 98-inch LG. I think the LG is so close to OLED in a bright room. Yeah.
Are you talking about the Samsung 98-inch, you mean?
Yeah, the Samsung 98-inch, because he's saying 50-50. The 83-inch A90J, if it's pitch black, that's when it really comes into play. And then you have these super bright highlights against a bright background. The 83-inch A90J is able to bring that bright highlight within a bright background better than anything else. But unless you watch specifically those kind of movies and looking for it, the 98-inch size is going to trump the benefits you're going to get from OLED. That's my opinion, I think. And 98-inch. You know, I was at Joe's place the other day, and he was showing off his 130-inch, 120-inch size projector. Nice. And we were only sitting 10 feet away, and I was like, dude, this is just, I don't want to say it's small, but it's perfect. And I'm like, okay, damn you, Joe. I'm sitting there going, this is not huge at all. I mean, and I even took pictures, right? I was like, okay, I can see why people are upgrading to the 100-inch, 120-inch. It's just a way to go. Hey, Ernie, is there a way to contact you guys outside this forum for further details? My earlier question. Yeah, Ernie, check us out on Twitter. I'm at FOMO Reviews, and Be the Installer is also on Twitter. Just direct message me. And
Be_installer. I also do some consultations with people regarding full setups. You can reach out to me. I have a website and email on there on my page, but I'm not sure what he needs specifically, but definitely hook it up.
That is right. Let's see. Making sure I don't miss. Oh, here we go. There's another super chat out there. Should grab it all up.
Yeah, make sure to. It's definitely easier for us once people start super chatting to see those questions. So I mean, I know we're not.
Things are moving so fast.
It's not like we just need the money. I'm just saying, like, if you want to stand out and have us check it out. But we appreciate all the comments. I try to look and talk about as much stuff as I can here. But yeah, the super chats stand out, and we appreciate it.
This is a great price: 75-inch X90J, 2850 to 1650, and I'd like to give people some perspective when they're making a decision, right? Because sometimes it's not always in a vacuum. So let's pull up this real quick. So what we have here is at 1650, really, you have to go over 2,000 to get to the Q90T. And if your budget is under 2,000, I think this is the way to go because you're going to get color accuracy out of the box, right?
This is somewhere else. The prices are wacky. These are like almost
Canadian?
1.5. I don't know. It's SEK. I don't know what SEK is. I'll look it up real quick. But I think because he's like talking about the C1 being 4,000, whatever it is. Let me see. CEK. Okay, here we go. Currency. I'm going to tell you right now. Swedish. He's a
Swedish.
Swede. It's a
Okay.
chrono. It's a
Kroner?
chrono.
Kroner. All right.
Krona.
Okay, so when you go to an OLED, avoid the B1. Either go with, because I don't understand how the B1 could be, I don't know. OLED to me is a significant difference to a non-OLED like the X90J. Now, if it was like a QN90A or something that's a little bit more high end where they really worked on the black levels, then it may be a little bit harder. The X90J, its lifted blacks is very obvious compared to the C1. So I'd say save up and go OLED. That way you have a really good experience at the 77-inch size. If you're willing to do that. Ulf Kenneth.
Well, it's also, I mean, but he's talking about it being literally less than half of the B1 and almost 1/3 of the price of the C1. So if you're trying to say, I mean, so he's talking probably about a 77-inch C1 and B1.
Yeah.
Or an X90J for 1/3 of the price.
I still say save up because once you're considering OLED, you're gonna get FOMO.
Yeah.
The problem is the FOMO, man. Because you're in a dark room and every time you see a little blooming, you're gonna be like, buyer's remorse. Especially if you watch movies with black bars, you will see the blooming in the black bars. It's just unavoidable. X95J does it better than the X90J.
I would say, if he wants my advice, I would say you probably could get the X90 just to give him a little hope. For that price at a 75-inch,
that is a good price.
I mean, it is a semi-dark room. We're just telling you may notice it, but I think a lot of people still would be happy with the X90J for that. I mean, it is a third. Not everyone has 4,000 whatever krona to buy on a TV, so maybe that's still a pretty good deal.
And also avoid the forums. Once you get the X90J, don't read. I mean, if you like it, just stay away from the forums.
I mean,
because
the
bad.
X90J is as bright as the OLEDs too. I mean, it technically is as bright. And in SDR, it's brighter. So you're going to get a TV. If you're watching cable, like, you know, some of the TV streaming is just cable, whatever. You're going to SDR. It's brighter than the C1, but no question, it doesn't have a good contrast and all that.
Hey, Dimitri. Ooh, welcome from Russia. And what do you recommend for a Sony X90J backlight with Ambilight support? So I'm assuming Ambilight's the Philips thing. So is your question, what is the X90J backlight setting? Or are you asking for a backlight like a bias lighting? The Media Kit backlight system is the most accurate you can get. I like Luminoodle if you don't care, and different colors and stuff. But if you want to go like professional, it's not that much more, but it's normally just under $100 for the media light. Let me look it up and I'll post a link for you guys real quick. But do you use bias lighting yourself, Brandon?
I have the cheap stuff. I got that one that we got in our swag bag. I haven't connected it yet.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. That's the good
behind
stuff.
Your TV here, I just have a couple of my nice lights sitting there. But it looks cool. Hey, did you put up this link on your YouTube channel or no? This one for this stream?
Yes, I did. I posted my community page.
So did I. I just wanted to. Yeah. It's a little earlier than we normally do these, so just
okay. So I posted that link. If you're interested, that's the Media Kit light. If you want accurate bias lighting. Yeah. And it's not that expensive.
Is that the one that we got in our swag bag or no?
That's the one. That's the company.
I have that swag bag. We moved right then, so all my stuff got buried and I'm still pulling it out of boxes.
Hey, Mike, thank you for the super chat. Hello, Canada. I have a Samsung Q90R soundbar from 2019, still a great soundbar, and a new Q98 85-inch TV. It works good, but think of upgrading to a newer Samsung soundbar for the Q Symphony. Your thoughts? I think that Q Symphony, to me, has been a fail for Samsung because the TV is the weak link, not the soundbar. I'm deeply disappointed in the audio drivers. The drivers of the TV cannot keep up with the soundbars. So if anything, you need the Q Symphony for your TV, but your TV does not add much to it. So don't worry about it. If you like your soundbar right now, the Q90R, don't upgrade because if you do, unless you know what you're missing, if you don't, you're like, you know what? I don't know what's the difference. Then you're like, what did I upgrade for, right? So there has to be something you're missing. Is it
I'll tell you.
Bass? What? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're right. I was just going to follow up with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you feel, you know what, I'm missing something in the bass, make sure the upgrade has a larger subwoofer driver. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the same bass, right? So,
yeah. And I was going to say that even the HTA9 with Sony, like you can only use that with the Sony OLEDs. And it maybe still doesn't sound better than if you just use the Phantom Center. And you
Mm-hmm.
cannot use even that nice system with an LED TV from Sony, because the speakers on like the X95J or X90J are garbage compared to like what a sound. These sound bars and sound systems don't have to be much better to sound better than the TV speakers. TV speakers typically suck. So you can
Yeah.
buy $100 sound bar and typically it'll sound better than your speakers. So there's no need to try to use a Samsung TV as part of your system. It's never going to work. It's never going to sound good. No chance.
Scott asks, keep it classy. I think Keep It Classy and Nutrition are both here. They themselves are getting certified, so they'll let you know. And if they're local to you, give them a call. I know they're looking for work, right? So yeah.
And if you want to get I think the certification, you can call some of these guys. Like who does the certification?
Jason
Jason
Ice
Dunstall. Is it Dunstall?
Dunsel? Yeah. He was on their live stream the other day. Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And
Make sure to hit the like button, people. Hit the like
yes,
button.
click the like button, everyone.
Only
Hey,
takes a
CMS.
sec.
Another regular. I love this image he has of his avatar. Any updates on the C1 4K HDR issue? Okay, so what issue are you talking about? I know there is the HDCP 2.2. It's not properly passing, so you're not allowed to watch 4K content legally. It's accusing the TV of not having the proper handshake. So, and not all C1s have that. Apparently, it's certain ones were in production, I think in the fall, but the ones earlier don't have it. Now, it's a firmware update. I mean, they are a firmware update from fixing that. So if that's what you're referring to, sooner or later it'll get fixed. Don't worry about it. Someone has mentioned that when they called in, LG said they would have to replace the board because they may have screwed up and gave the wrong or put the wrong chip in there. We don't know. We're waiting for official confirmation. That's just hearsay. But if it ends up being a hardware issue where they switch out the board, yeah, that sucks, man. So if you're within the swap period, I'd say just return it and wait, unless you want to deal with a board swap, if that's the case. So something to think about. And for Brandon, hey, any experience with a mantle mount? This guy's an installer. You're asking the right dude. Brandon is going to do a mantle mount for me of that 83-inch, and I'm choosing their most heavy-duty mantle mount, but not the electric motorized version.
Yeah.
Mid-range MM540 is on sale, $300 versus $450. $20 coupons. What are your thoughts on the mid-range? Have you installed those yet, Brandon?
Yeah. No, the MM550 or 540, that's great. It's a great one. I just let everyone know. I mean, you can get generic ones on Monoprice that are like half the price too. So Monoprice has mantle mounts as well. They're just generic mantle mounts.
Mantle mounts, remember.
I mean, Monoprice stuff is no joke. I mean, it may not be quite as hardcore, but I would get that 540. That 540 is good. I like that. That's one I would prefer for most people to buy.
Since you mentioned Monoprice, I have to give them a shout out. No, it's not sponsored, but I still have to say I'm so impressed with what they did. So let me share this with you guys real quick. Monoprice, because this is something that.
Is that me or him? I don't know. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Did I just?
I don't know. I froze. I'm not sure.
I did too. No, I froze too. All of us did.
Yeah, no worries.
All right.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Look at the speaker and appreciate its glory, right? So this speaker looks amazing. It has a waveguide. It's $180, less than $180, right? And guess what? The guy that designed the per listen speakers, that's like $8,000 a pair, and he designed Arundel's speakers that are also very nice. Monoprice retained him to design this speaker, and he's already designed 2 other sets of speakers from Monoprice or Monolith, and those are their THX range. This guy is a legit designer. I think his name is Roner. He is good. And so when Monoprice puts something out and it's under their Monolith brand, it means they hire the best to do it at a budget. Obviously, cut costs, right? Just the most basic veneers, but still, that guy designed that waveguide. This is a solid speaker. I heard it at Joe's place. I'm like, oh my god, 185 each? You kidding me?
Yeah.
So right now, this is my best bang for the buck speaker selection for anyone who just wants to add a speaker or upgrade from something cheap. A pair of these under $400. There's just a no-brainer.
Monoprice has a legit, like, they get their products made and they get them shipped and they're there and they're good at cutting their costs down. So they're pretty good. Yeah, I have a question quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go.
So on our C10, every time we plug in the Xbox Series X now, we lose video. And the only way we can get video back is by turning off the ultra deep, whatever, HDR ultra deep.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. It's been a while since I've had the C10. I remember the ultra deep.
So, I mean, is that a C10 issue or is that an LG issue? Does that have to do with the Dolby Vision gaming? I'm not sure.
So what's happening exactly when
like every time
the Xbox?
Yeah, when we plug it in and the X Series X is on 4K at 60 even, it just automatically hits the ultra deep color or whatever, and it just blacks out the screen and says no input, no signal. So we have to go into the input and turn off that HD Ultra, whatever it's called, and then it comes back on. So I'm just confused at why it's doing that every time.
It's definitely a handshake between the LG and the Xbox. So one is triggering the other, and that's it. So it could either be addressed by LG at the firmware side or Xbox. Either one could address it. And if no one addresses it, then it just continues to do what it does.
Is this what Ninjishin's talking about here? The firmware update? There's a hit with the HDCP 2.2 bug. Is that possibly what he's speaking about? And by the way, you're pretty frozen. I'm not sure if your internet's going wacky, but I got you on a frozen screen. I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
Now.
Nope.
Sort of hear you. But your picture's been frozen for a bit. Well, he left. I confirm it's him, not me. Yeah, it's FOMO, they said. No worries. He'll be back in a second. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big gamer, obviously. Yeah, you look good.
Okay. Oh, hey, that HDCP 2.2 hit your C10. I've only heard it hitting the C1. So this must be a firmware update that affected you. So this was after your last update?
Yeah, exactly. We have auto updates on that TV, and the kids were playing, and all of a sudden so here's the thing. We thought it was the X Series X because the HDMI in the back's a little loose because my kids always like moving it around. They're like moving it to every TV in the house.
Right.
And so I thought it was the HDMI is not working, but because it plug it in and it kept going to no signal. So eventually I plugged it into the Sony and it didn't happen on my. So look, an LG is not working with my X Series X and my Sony is. So there you go. That's the whole thing with these TVs
never know.
And gaming and all this crap. Like,
and it's the same cable, right? Yeah, same cable, right?
Yeah,
so it's not the cable.
Literally took the cable over and plugged it in. It popped right on. So yeah, I have to basically turn off that deep color. What is it? I think it's called deep color or
deep color. It's that deep color.
So I have to go into the menu, and luckily I know enough from listening to some of these guys to try some of these fixes, which worked. But then it was like it worked. It's fine. Or you can also just leave it in 1080 and it doesn't. If you turn it to 1080 at 120 or 1080 at 60, it wouldn't do it either. But that was obviously don't want to do that.
And look, Ninjishin's offering to drop by. You got a little home service there.
Yeah, then he said cold reset the HD. I don't even know what that means. All I know is I pretty much tried everything. We turned it off. I re-handshake. I know all that stuff from the old school like ARC and the old school connections where you had to like turn off each device and turn them on in sequence, turn the TV on, turn the receiver on, then turn your cable box on to send the signal through properly. All that stuff used to be a pain in the butt for us installers. Get done with the job and then someone turns their shit on in a different order and nothing works. And I'd have to walk all the way back. I have to like drive back there and fix it.
Well, now you're limping.
Walk in the snow up.
You're limping with crutches now. Hey, Tomislav Z. Darik. Hello to Europe. 65-inch A80J or C1, Netflix, Disney, PS5, 550 usage, 50-50 usage. Difference right now is £200 in Germany. Only planning to have PS5, no PC, Xbox. Thanks, guys. I like the A80J because out of the box, your color is going to look good. The C1, it could be all over the place. You might have it accurate, you might not. If it's not, now you're going to spend hours fiddling with it, going online, looking for settings. So I go with the A80J just because having seen a lot of content personally on calibrated TVs, I can't stand to look at non-calibrated TVs anymore. And the C1, it's all over the place, right? So people, if you don't have calibrated TVs, it shouldn't be an issue because your C1 just, it just looks crazy like everything else. But if you want natural skin tones and out of the box, you watch a lot of content where it's close up, you're going to notice the lips are a bit too bright or just something's off and you will never figure it out without a calibration. So I recommend A80J for that reason alone because I really like movies. And PS5 is not an issue for the A80J. I think it's going to be fine, especially 4K 60. I don't expect people gaming 4K 120 in the PS5 anyway. So that's my recommendation. And $200 is not a big difference. That's less than the price of a calibration, which you might have to do with a C1 depending on how off it is when you get it.
Yeah. And I made a whole video about these OLED issues. So Thomas Slav, if you need to check out, I have a 4-way OLED video that I just launched.
Yes.
And I appreciate everyone that commented that they appreciated it, liked it. Thank you very much. That was a pain in the butt, man. It's hard to pull B-roll footage from like 8 different videos. So it took me like all day yesterday to edit that sucker.
Hey, Kush, I need a TV for a secondary room that has controlled lighting. I want something up to 55-inch. Would I choose a 48-inch C1 or a 55-inch R646? With controlled lighting, I like OLED.
Man,
but
the OLEDs are on sale too, man.
Yeah, is it too small? So what are you thinking? Can you sit closer?
I would have to get a C1.
Yeah. I mean,
you got that C1 right there. Look, it's right over there, just sitting there, not getting any use. That's a great TV. It's a great
controlled lighting.
Or just get the 55 C1.
I say because the difference between a 55 C1 and 48 is only a couple hundred.
Yeah, I think the 4800 C1 is like $1,000 right now.
It is.
It's on sale.
Oh, yeah, well, let's look at my little list real quick. 1,300 for the 55-inch C1, and 700 for. So it's almost half the price. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, at almost twice as much. Yeah, check the 55-inch C1. Is it still 1,300? Because
gosh, man, I am messing up. C1. There we go.
C1.
Yeah, 1,300, and then the 48-inch is 1,099.
See, the 646 55-inch for only 700. You're talking budget now, because if you're looking at a C1 for literally almost twice as much, you're jumping a whole tier. That's why I would recommend it. But cost being an issue, and if you're willing to play with the settings, speaking of playing with the settings, let's add a man who will tell you how rough it is to play with the settings. Hey, what do you think of his question here? 48-inch C1 or a 55-inch R646 Classic? Because I know you've been playing with that TV for a while now.
What was the use case?
He has control.
He just wants a TV up to 55-inch. Just there it is. Just control lighting. He wants, trying to save some money possibly on the R646, or just go and get a smaller 48-inch C1, which is like only $1,100 now, but still $400 more than the 646.
I don't know. I know you haven't had as many bugs or issues that KG and I and some other people have had with the TCL, but I would say if you want a mature
bug-free,
not going to have so many issues, then I would just get the LG. Look, they broke something with an update, and they gave us November 17th. They're fixing it. TCL is not going to do that.
Hey, can you pull the bike a little closer? Just I don't know if you could.
Yeah.
Is it just because it might help a little bit?
Yeah. Just got this mic yesterday, so it's.
Oh, what'd you get, buddy? What'd you get?
Shure MV7.
Nice.
Oh, I had that one. Yeah, that's a good mic. Oh, I sold it. But yeah, that's a great mic, by the way.
It's a good mic. I sold it, but it's good for you. No, I'm just kidding. It's better than my Wave 3 here, my Elgato USB mic. But I like this mic. Yes. It is what it is.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to catch up with all the super chats for you guys. Here we go. Hey, Tate, thank you for the super chat. Only room for 48 to 58 inch. Oh, that limits your choices.
Never will
A9S,
be.
that was last year's Master Series from Sony, or the C1. I got to go with the C1.
But
never
he
will
never
game.
games.
He never games.
Never
Well,
games.
A9S is going to be color accurate out of the box, and it's going to have the least uniformity issues. And if it's not as bright, but the A9S is not too old. So this is a good question. Is the A9S tech too old? The C1 tech, first of all, I don't know if you're getting the new 2021 panel or not. And number two, the new panel is more about thermal efficiency, but it's not necessarily brighter. And the A9S is known for its color accuracy, period. So out of the box, both will look great, but you're not going to have to calibrate the A9S because it's binned and it's a master series. I'd go with the A9S for movie watching. What do you guys think?
The only counter I would say to that is if he's going to be doing a lot of Netflix, that's Dolby Vision, and the way Sony handles Dolby Vision is not good. So I would say go for the C1 because of that. Because
there you go.
The colors are accurate, but their white point decision is weird, where you're going to have one white point for SDR and HDR and one white point for Dolby Vision, so your content doesn't look the same.
All I could say is, Sony, what's wrong with you? Figure it out with the Dolby Vision thing, man. It's like that's a good point, though. Did you notice that difference, Brandon, when you're watching? Because I know you have the Sony OLED. Is this on all the Sony OLEDs, Classy, or just?
Yeah, it's when you use Dolby Vision Dark, which is the accurate setting for Dolby Vision. It's going to convert it to D65, while everything else is JUD.
So this is
I
where
don't even use Dolby Vision Dark. So
I was going to say I only use Dolby Vision Bright on the Sony, and maybe that's why I cannot watch it in dark. So
well, it depends on the content. So if you watch something like Sweet Tooth, it's brighter and has more range if you're in dark than if you're in bright.
Really interesting.
Okay, hey, you tried this, right, Brandon? Unplug everything and replug everything. The classic computer suggestion. Wait, did you try the PowerPoint and the power button?
Oh, sorry. What? No, we did all that stuff. I mean, I can try it again. I can even see that it went too fast. But you just said unplug stuff.
Yeah, just unplug all the cables, let it rest, and basically you're clearing the capacity.
Just give it some time off.
Give it some time.
Should I pet it and give it a kiss? That'll help.
You'll be surprised how often that works. Hey, Classy, you have those TVs. Are you seeing the issues on yours, or is it a selective issue with only some people, like the TCL?
I guess it was a firmware that was pulled, or a certain date of the C1s when they were made. But didn't you say it was on your C10?
Yeah. It's the C10.
Yeah, so I haven't heard anyone having it on the C10, so I don't know.
Yeah, it literally won't play unless we every time I have to manually go in and turn that deep color off. And then it pops back on.
Patrick, this is an interesting question. X91J or X95J? So X95J is clearly a tier above the X91J and significantly more expensive. The X91J is the 85-inch version of the X900H, just repurposed for this year. It's the exact same TV. And if you're thinking the A80J, that's not going to get as bright. So if you're in a bright room and you need anti-glare, go with the X95J 85-inch. The A80J does not have the anti-glare. It's, darker room, light controlled room, but it looks amazing, right? So let us know what your room situation is, and maybe we'll give you a better suggestion. Let's see.
I have to go A80J for almost anyone, regardless of room condition. But yes, if it's super, super bright, then I think we have a super chat there too, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, right below there.
No worries.
I think this is one that Classy should answer. I thought the calibration was like $650 from Valley Electronics. It's not cheap. I don't know what it is right now, but couldn't I just look up the settings online? Okay, Classy, why don't you unload on it?
You can look up the settings online, but whether or not that helps.
And D Nice, Dwayne Davis used to share settings online until people yelled at him for doing that. But Classy, why don't you just address that? Because I know you and Ingestion deal with this all the time.
Yeah, there's some settings that you can copy, mostly the basic stuff, your brightness, contrast, and then like the 2-point white balance. That generally there's still some panel variants where it might be a click off or two, but it'll move it in the right direction. But when people start doing 20-point advanced settings or color management settings, that's where you're just moving your TV into unknown territory, and it's not going to work.
Yep. Some things you have to access the Pro panel, the service, like the calibrator's service menu, their special panel, and you can't do anything. You can't do anything, but your TV's unique issue requires them to have a meter to properly correct what's wrong. And if you're lucky, out of the box is perfect, great. But if it's not, you got to bring in a calibrator, even one that knows a little bit. They don't have to be a pro calibrator, but they need to know how to use the meters and so forth. So that's something to keep in mind. And just for everyone's information, when you get a Master Series Sony, they are the cleanest panel because they bin their panels. They will kick out panels that do not have a minimum acceptable uniformity, but that's why they're so expensive. You're paying for all the panels that they threw out because they're literally throwing them away. That cost is passed down to you, but in return, there's a predictable level of consistency across all Master Series panels. So that's why it's expensive. Basically, it's not just the technology. They've done you a favor by kicking out all the bad panels or dropping it down to the X95J or whatever, right? But given that the Z9J is 8K, they literally just threw it away. They can't use it anywhere else.
Yeah, all three of the Master Series 83-inch ones we've had have all been clean too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I still have FOMO's behind me, he needs me to come up and get rid of that. Now I got a broken ankle, and I got to do that on a broken ankle. So now,
if it's not one thing, it's another, right?
You better get this TV before I'm in a walking boot.
No, before it's 2023, right?
Yeah, dude, this TV is gonna have cobwebs and shit on it. And you're like, dude, it's gonna be old news.
Peanut butter.
I mean, luckily he paid for it already, so now it's just sitting here.
I know, right? Hey, Camaro, thanks for that super chat. Got my 77-inch A80J. That's my favorite TV this year, by the way, for 2,500 euros, and pretty happy. Only thing annoying is motion stuttering. So I use motion flow turned up. For gaming, I have my 48-inch LG C10. Hey, what motion flow are you setting at? I like it at 2. I find it above 2. It's too soapy. Classy is super sensitive to soap. What is your motion flow, Classy? Like 0? Off?
No, actually, I use smoothness 1. It's the only TV I've ever seen where I can have a motion setting on and not see soap opera effect. That's why for me it wins.
1 or 2 is good. Yeah, 1 or 2. And
I'm happy with that.
If you don't, I mean, what do you expect from a TV that has that fast of response rate and all that? I mean, it's like you're going to get stutter on that kind of thing, aren't you? Do you want to explain that better, Classy? Like why everyone gets stutter on OLEDs?
Just because the pixel response is so fast. It's basically instant. The other thing, though, is if you're noticing just like every few seconds, it's just going to be going and then stop and then going and stop. You're getting the frame skips. That's because your Cinemotion setting isn't set right to the content. So like I turned on the Grand Tour latest episode last night, and for whatever reason, Cinemotion was on high and it shouldn't be. And I was noticing that right away. So just turn it off. Like if you want to be safe and not see the frame skip, just leave it off. But low is generally safe.
So maybe Sony got the signal that's a sports and they did it to high because they're being told it's sports. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But is that the XR?
So can you leave it at low all the time then, and then it won't work if it doesn't need it? Is that what it is?
Generally, I don't really see too many issues with low. But it also depends on the device. And that, like, if you're using the internal built-in apps, they're always 60 hertz. But if you're using some certain devices like Apple TV or whatever, then you can force it to 24. And so that's why it's kind of annoying that it doesn't like auto detect that and change it for you.
We talked about about this with me a bunch. What if you put it on like the NVIDIA Shield or like the Apple TV and you use match frame rate, then you don't need to worry about it. Then you leave it on low.
Just turn it off.
Just turn it off if it's match frame rate.
Yep. So pretty much I just say leave Cinemotion off unless there's something wrong, then try low, and almost never use high because high for most content you're going to get those frame drops.
Yeah.
And I got to take this real quick. Sorry, I got to take this a second. Though I love YouTube, love doing YouTube videos, I love everyone on YouTube. YouTube TV is trash and I need them to get 4K footage. I'm telling you. Because anything that I watch with widescreen bars or when it blacks the screen out, everything is lifted. It does not black the screen out. It's like it's a deep red color. I hate it. And
you think it's your TV, right? So it's not your TV.
Yes,
it's a signal.
I have the most expensive TVs you could buy, and it's like it looks like garbage on my 65 at night in my room. It's like it blacks out and it's like a dark red screen, and I'm like, oh, so awful. The Spectrum app was so much better, and I never knew how good I had it until it was gone.
And next, you're gonna rant about Spectrum because these guys, man, they okay.
No,
Great
it's all good.
segue,
No one wants
Preston
to hear
and
you do that.
Michael. We're going to talk Vizio real quick, right? The H165 inch is the OLED. 1500 is kind of expensive, and this is why we want to talk about this real quick. Is so Vizio, if you guys have read any of the latest news, interestingly enough, they make so much more money on their, what do they call it, SmartCast, than they do selling TVs. So basically, the reason why their TVs are so cheap is they're probably selling it at near cost, just enough to get you to get the TV, because most people leave advertising on. How many of you in the viewers, right? Let's talk about our viewers. How many of you specifically turn off ads? I do, because I can't stand it. But do you? And if you don't, Chrome or SmartCast from Vizio, that's how Vizio makes their money. And they must have a lot of people keeping the ads on, because it makes so much money for them. And I'm thinking, this sounds like.
Where are those apps even at? Like, what are the ads? Like, what do they mean? Like, in the home screen, or
yes,
are they
on the home
stealing
screen,
data, or what? I don't get it.
Data, targeted ads. So they watch what you're watching, and then they share that with all their advertisers, and they're going to place ads in your home screen, because they're advertisers who paying them, right? Obviously, we're not paying them. It's not a subscription, but advertisers are buying that data, raw data, and they're paying them straight raw data, and they're tracking you and selling that raw data. And they got in trouble twice before by doing it secretly. Now they're just, if you want to continue, check the box. So I know Michael and Preston, you both have the Vizio. Do you leave ads on, or do you turn it off? That's what I'd like to know. And Clark, the $600 calibration of electronics, is it worth doing 95-inch Q98? So it's not even the calibration at this point, it's the quality control. You're paying for electronics to make sure you get a clean panel, because that's included in the calibration. And yes, absolutely, Samsung is known for not having good uniformity at the larger sizes. I know of a couple of customers who still haven't gotten their Q98 85-inch from electronics because poor Robert
can't find a good one.
Can't find a good one. And he's trying to convince him, you want to get something else? Because I don't know how many times I'm going to have to reject these things. So that's just what it is with the larger sizes. Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, here's
Clips 1200 Cinema, Sony HT89. 1200 gets loud and low. Their subwoofers are way larger than the Sony HT89. It's designed to get super loud and super low. And now, whether or not that's pleasant is a whole other discussion. The Sony HT89 to me sounds very balanced, but it did not get as loud. If you're in a large room, you have to go with the 1200 Cinema. If you're in,
is it really? Is it good? It's good.
It's the clips, you mean?
Yeah, I haven't heard much positive from
people.
The clips.
Don't like it because they feel it's too sibilant. You're going to have to go in there and EQ the hell out of it, but it gets super loud. It's probably literally the loudest sound bar you can buy today if you need volume. But everything else is just not like the subwoofer is like probably the most powerful subwoofer you can get out of a soundbar box.
I mean,
in the kit.
Clips doesn't mess around with their subwoofers. Normally they hit pretty hard.
And they plan to offer a larger one, by the way, for those that have an even larger room. That's how loud this soundbar will get. They can give you even larger subwoofer later without having to upgrade anything else. So, yeah, if you need it, if you have a large room and everything else sounds too small, like Sonos Arc has their limits, right? The 1200 Cinema is for those rooms.
Yeah, it's not the 1200, but I'm going to order the Clip 700 to review probably later today.
Yeah, let us know, because I know they're just very loud. That's the one praise they always get is, wow, these get really loud. And you're welcome, my friend. Let me see me get caught up here. Okay. Follow up. Kush, this is your use case. Plan to use a 48-inch in guest rooms with the controlled lighting. Is the C1 worth the $200 over the A1 in picture quality, motion, HDR brightness? I can only say absolutely yes, but that's me. I think the A1, I think the image processing, everything about it is just so cut down. Forget gaming, right? I'm just saying, I think everything about it is cut back, and that $200 difference, I'd go with the C1. But that's me. What are you guys thinking about the A1?
I think if it's a guest room that you're not watching personally, I wouldn't even pay that much. I'd get like a Samsung Crystal or something.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If it's for a guest room, not for you, but if you're in the guest room, if it's your mom, come on, right? But if it's someone it's like your mother-in-law, I don't know. Oh, this is a great question. Best budget TV, TCL 5 Series, hands down. Is that quick enough? How about you guys? What are you guys thinking?
Wait, where
If
are we?
he
Oh, we're
if
down
we
here.
if
I
we're
got
talking
you.
like bottom end, yeah, that's the lowest. Like the only reason I would say anything lower is if you want like the 4 series 75-inch and you want to go up in size. But if you want a quality TV for a really low price, then it's the 5 series.
Yeah.
Did you hit up the M World, the 85 or the 77 question? Did you already do that one?
Oh
This
no,
one right
where's that?
here.
Oh, hey, well, you dude, I'm so sorry. I saw
It's
this
okay.
question and
No
never got
worries.
back to it.
I
And
wasn't
he's a
sure if you were gonna.
regular.
No worries.
I'm
No worries.
abusing my regulars.
Nah,
Okay.
come on, we're good.
All right, let's get to you. 85-inch Q90A or 77-inch A80J. Extra size gain worth missing out. OLED extra processing. My concern is not the extra size. It's what we talked about just now, the uniformity issue at the 85-inch size. You get it, and I'm like, oh, the picture looks great, but there's this, that, or the other. The A80J, more likely than not, it's just going to be trouble-free as far as uniformity. So that's what you have to consider. OLED generally has better uniformity than LCD TVs. But Samsung, not just is it an LCD TV, they're having issues with their 85-inch size. Now, assuming everything is equal as far as uniformity, the 85-inch, I think, makes a huge difference. But it's
Yeah,
more
it's a
than that.
big.
So,
I wouldn't
you know,
sit 18 inches away though. Maybe 18 feet is what he
Yeah,
means.
if it's 18 feet, then I would say
18 inches away is pretty
size,
close
but
for that big TV. The pixel density might not be great at 18 inches.
be like, oh, IMAX
No,
enhanced.
those are in my opinion, the 77-inch OLED or 85-inch QLED. That's the hardest ones for me, and
yeah, I
that's
would
why
say
we
that.
could say just get the 83-inch A90J then, right?
I mean, I would say the X95J. That way, it keeps the XR processor and
Yeah, that's good. And they are typically more uniform. And if you're not in like a pitch black room, it's a semi-dark room.
yeah.
Right.
I think you have to be in a dark theater room. I had the lights off when I had the X95J, and then I'm like, okay, I can see the blooming. If it's like if you have your typical lights on or some daytime, nighttime, you can't really see the blooming too. It's not super easy to. You got to really look for it.
Here's my question for you, Brenda. I think this is targeted for you. Thanks, Javier, for the super chat. Looking for display mostly for art. And you guys know where I'm going with this one. Nature, scenery, the occasional movie, minimalist, well-lit living room. What's the largest the frame he can get? What are your thoughts on that, right? Would that be the right thing?
The frame is really, I mean, you can get art, like there's art on this TV right there, but it's not, the Samsung frame is by far the best for art. I mean, it's just constantly, now Samsung needs to they need to get the software going because you can't even randomize the art yet. You have to go in there and manually change. And it's like you can set it up for every 3 minutes it changes, but you have to manually force that, and then it doesn't do it when you're away. So Samsung really needs to get on that software because these TVs are selling like crazy. But I think you can get a pretty large Samsung frame, and they're not terrible TVs. They are comparable to the X85J, X90J, maybe not really the X90J, a little bit lower than that. So yes, it's not worth it for dollar to dollar, but I have a ton of people hit me up and be like, greatest decision we ever made. It's a good enough TV. It's great for art. I like it. My husband likes it. It's the ultimate compromise. Some people even use it for morning motivational quotes on their TV. I'm not kidding, man. People love that TV.
Okay,
So,
I have to agree with you.
Or
I visited my friend's house and he was so happy. He just got the frame, right? He goes, check out this TV I just got. And I remember he said it was a frame. I walked in and looked over his fireplace. I'm like, now I know what Brandon's talking about.
Yeah.
And
nice.
I wasn't looking at blooming because they put in the right images that doesn't expose its
get
flaws, right?
No, you don't get any blooming or anything when you watch the images.
Yeah,
and I don't even think I don't think it's
an edgelit.
It's edgelit. It's not a FALD. So,
perfect.
But it does have some uniformity in the vignetting and stuff. It's not perfect.
Gray screen, right? You put in a gray screen, but you put in paintings.
It's not great.
Yeah.
But and you can, it looks great for art, and it's good. It's 500 nit machine for everything else,
For $4,000 though, why not a 77 G1?
Yeah, but I don't know if I don't you could get a G1, but it's I don't know if I would want to have just art displaying on it all the time. I don't know. That's just me. But
yeah,
it's clearly
4,000.
It's clearly a better TV. It's clearly a better TV. It's not even close. I mean, the TV looks a lot better.
Given the $4,000,
then you get the 5-year warranty. Don't worry about it burning in.
Now the question is, can he get an 85-inch frame? Is there even an 85-inch frame?
I'm not sure.
If there
Yeah,
is,
sure.
I'd go with $4,000 and an 85-inch.
I think I've heard a lot of people say 75. I haven't really ever heard someone say I want an 85-inch frame. I don't know if it has one.
No, there is no 85-inch frame. I think they released a 75. I think, but
Yeah, because it's basically a repackaged Q60A.
Yeah. A little better.
Okay,
But it's somewhere in between, yeah.
I need to address this only because in my reviews, this is my number one complaint of my flagship, not just the Q90A, but also the Q900TS and the Q90R. In the specular highlights, it is dimmer. However, the most recent firmware update, it's a little bit better. Not as good as the U8G or the TCL6 series, but it's as good as the Sony X95J now. So you're absolutely right. Samsung does dim the specular highlights noticeably, and I'm unhappy with that. I think they don't have to do that, but they do. So that's just what it is.
We got one, just a couple comments up for Kush Burger here. I'll put it up.
Yeah.
Planning to use 48-inch in guest rooms with controlled lighting. Is the C1 worth the $200 difference over the A1 and picture key? Yes.
Oh yeah, this is the one where Classy said if it's someone you don't like, get them the A1. Hell, get them a Q60, man.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, for anyone looking, I don't even think there's a reason to buy the A1. I don't,
No. If you go cheap, then go cheap, right?
Dude, what did I do here?
On yesterday, there was someone that asked, like they were getting 3 or 4 cheap TVs for a B&B, and it's like, yeah, just get a Samsung Crystal. Dude, it's reliable.
Just get the Toshiba. People get like the Toshiba Amazon TVs, man. Like, who cares?
Hey,
the Roku TVs, whatever.
We go and stay at all sorts of hotels, right? From the Motel 6 to 5-star. You know what TVs they use? The exact same one. Whatever is on volume discount from LG or Samsung, it's at the hotel, and I'm just happy it has a TV. I don't even care. That's your approach as an owner of a home where you have people, well, they're coming and visit, they just need a TV. TCL, what is the cheapest TCL Roku? Get that one.
You know that that's why I think that Hisense U6G is such a good deal for it's like $400 bucks.
It's bright.
Isn't it? I mean, it's a good TV for how cheap it is. 60 hertz, but it's pretty cheap.
No, the U6G is the U6G.
It's 60.
It's 60, but
the biggest flaw I saw with that is there's no e-arc. It's just regular arc for whatever reason.
But I mean, for the price though, like I was trying to price out TVs for my sister and people, and it's like, they just watch TV, man. They're just watching TV. They maybe they have a sound bar. They don't need the they're not doing true Dolby, Dolby Atmos. They just want something. And that TV for that price, it's hard to recommend something different. It's like you're going to buy one of those Toshibas. It's going to be way worse technically for the price.
What would you choose for gravy biscuits? I'd go with the 83-inch C1.
Gravy biscuit? I was like,
oh no, actually no.
I do. I like gravy biscuits. They're fantastic. I didn't know that's what his name was.
I would go with the 83-inch C1 because I would dim the lights and take full advantage of the deep blacks. As impressed as I was with the X95J overall, the sizes are so similar. I'm a big fan of just perfect blacks on a black bar. What would you guys choose?
This is a tough one, man. This is tough.
If the money doesn't matter, the 83C1. If it does matter, then you have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. This is the hardest thing. I think this is the hardest question to answer for any AV person, any TV person. A 77-inch OLED or 85. They just need to make more 83-inch TVs.
Gravy, get rid of the 77. It's really between the 83 and the 85 because once you see big, you can't go down. You're not going to be happy. And the 700 series is an excellent Blu-ray player from Sony. I think in the US it's under $200. The only thing is it's manual Dolby Vision. So when you have Dolby Vision content, turn it on. When you don't have Dolby Vision content, turn it off. But that's it. It's a little inconvenient, but I use it for my testing personally. I love it. I think it works fine. Mm-hmm. And so you guys have had a long time with all your different TVs. What is the TV you guys watch the most right now? Just for your own pleasure, like wow,
the 77A80. I mean, I still say that's like the best premium value pick of the year.
Yeah, I would agree. How about you, Brandon?
Sorry, man. Listen, I'll be honest. Robert Woods of the Rams tore his ACL, so I'm
Oh
freaking out
no,
because
Robert
now I don't have a
Woods.
third receiver. My team's the best team in my league. In my other league, I already wanted to trade him because they just got Odell Beckham Jr. on the team. So now I'm like, then the same day he tears his ACL. So I'm talking trades. Sorry, I didn't even hear what you said.
Well,
But
my
what was the
backup.
question?
I was going to say my backup quarterback was Sam Darnold. I never got to play him. He's out
Yeah,
already.
that's a good thing. You don't want to play him. He's terrible, man. Hey,
Oh
you know what?
yeah,
You've had like two good tight ends the whole season. I kept thinking I should get Goddard from you because you have Ertz and Goddard, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah,
They just
they're
swap
both
back and
awesome.
forth on the Eagles,
They're
right?
both awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Anyways,
Hey, great question, Aman. 85-inch, 85-inch, which one? Q900A, Z9J, or any OLED? Ooh, completely different use cases, man. Sports and HDR movies, I go Z9J. Only because sports and, bright and hockey and, yeah.
See, but then
80,
for
and
HDR movies, I gotta go 900A.
but uniformity, we talked about that. I'm thinking Z9J, he's not going to have any issues with
I think
you
Samsung
might.
has to give the 900 series a little extra attention.
I hope so.
I mean, you would think they would. That's their flagship premium model.
I'd say
what they
call,
do. Yeah.
if you're in the USA, call Robert Zone. So I mean, since obviously money is not much of an object, he will make sure to QC it for you before you get it. If
And it
you're
would
getting
still
the
be cheaper
Q900.
than the Z9J if you did.
Yeah. Yeah. So something to think about. I do like the Q900A for sure. The black and the blooming will be better than Z9J. But if you're in a bright room, floor to ceiling windows, you got friends over, sports bar, whatever, I think the Z9J is going to be pretty cool, pretty bright. I just love the 2500 nits in a 2% window. It's just crazy.
I got to get that 900A in here, man. I don't know how I'm going to get, like, I don't really want to go pay $5,500 and then return it, Like it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find someone that needs one so I can go install it for him and then just get it. But I may end up buying it. I'm not sure.
Here's something to think about the Q900A. So the 8K TVs from Samsung, if it's under 75 inches, they do cut back on some of that. That processor was designed for the 75 and 85 inch with all those dimming zones. I noticed the 65 and below, if there's anything 65 or less, it's just not the same level of performance it could be. So if you do, wait for the 75 to drop in price and make that one your QN900A. Hey, Logan, thanks for the super chat, man. Getting a C1 next week. What should I check to be sure I got a good panel? What settings should I change out of the box? So my suggestion always go on YouTube. There are always these OLED check patterns. Go through that and you could check uniformity or whatever. Most of us have the benchmark UHD from Spears and Munsell. They have a lot of tests in there. But, well, what are you looking for? Because you actually have the LG C1 yourself, Class C, and they have their unique issues. What should he look for specific to the C1 to know that he has a good panel?
So there's some patterns that you can like download on USB drive. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5% stimulus gray patterns. And you just want to be in like a pitch black room. Look at like the 4% or the 5%. Look for the bars, but I wouldn't bother until you're like about 100 hours into the TV and ran a manual pixel refresh. Then do it, and then you'll see what's there.
Well, actually, you want to let him know that you have that manual refresh video, right?
Yeah, I have that. I also have settings video for the C1 and G1.
Watch that.
The main point for pretty much most TVs these days is you don't need to change a lot of settings. The less is more. So they come pretty accurate as long as you use the ISF or the filmmaker modes, things like that.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps. And yeah, don't worry about the color and settings until you've had 100 hours because it does settle down and things shift a little bit. And this is another good question. Hey, Explorer, would the X95J 85-inch be a perfect partner for the Sony HT-A9? I think so, because the HT-A9 gives you the option of using the X95J, the entire screen acoustic panel, to be the center channel. And since it's so big, you could have a pretty good front soundstage if you use the 85-inch as your center channel. No other TV outside of the Sony models, the X95J and the OLEDs this year can do that. Now, if you're matching an LG, you're getting a phantom channel, and phantom channel is fine, but don't spread your speakers too far apart. Then you start to lose that phantom. So it depends on how close your speakers are. But if you're looking at 85-inch, I don't know. What do you think about this, Brian?
X95J is not going to work, man. I'm telling you,
Not good enough?
The speakers on the X95J are not the same quality. They don't sound
They're not.
like
they're kind of sharp.
The OLEDs have that vibrating panel that comes out at you. You know, that's the sound is coming directly at you. That X95J are coming from the sides, and it's just not the same. I wouldn't assume that HTA9 will work for any of those. And it's definitely not going to work for the C1 because the C1 speakers are on the bottom and it's completely different sounding. So you're basically trying to rely on these TVs to be your center channel, and it's not going to work. The Phantom Center sounds way better. And I had a hard time getting the A90J 83-inch, the absolute best possible to sound good. Yeah, it's still hard.
I found my X95J to be a little bit sibilant. So you can watch my review and listen to the sound comparison between having it on and off. And I found it to be a bit pumped up in the highs. So I would have to go in and EQ it down if I wanted to sound a bit more normal. So
yeah, and I would just say,
but did you just get, but you got good quality. It sounded like a decent center to you or not?
Dialogue was clear, but then the sibilance was a bit much in some of the soundtracks. So I ultimately would turn it off because everything was too sibilant.
Yeah, so just
with the X95J,
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Overcompensated, I think.
The 65 X95J that I reviewed, the audio on that was nowhere close to the 77 A80, and I'm sure the 83 A90 sounds better and louder. So I'd say maybe if you're a midpoint in the volume level, it might be okay. But as soon as you start to push the volume up, that's probably where it falls apart.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys heard of this? This is from Orange Shlomo. Hey, welcome back, buddy. Would you ask a sound beamer from Novato for a review? It's a focused sound beam projector. I'm imagining this laser sound hitting you in the face, replacing headphones. My 75-inch Q98 is in kids' proximity. Headphones are inconvenient. Got it. Okay, so sound beamer from
Is that the thing you put around your neck and it just puts sound up, or what is that?
I don't know. Let me look at that.
Idea what that is.
Novato sound beamer. That's interesting.
It's funny if none of us have heard of it. It's definitely interesting.
Here it is, Novato, right? Novato sound beamer. Let me share this. Let me ask you guys. You guys seen this, right? It looks very interesting, actually. Share screen. I'm always open to new technologies that work. The key is, does it work? Here it is. All right. Okay. Here it is, sound beamer. Products without the use of headphones, first of its kind, immersive and personal audio experience. I'm still waiting for what it looks like. Oh, there it is. It looks kind of like a personal soundbar, like having invisible headphones standing in front of the N1 smart speaker. The sound is coming at you, magically beamed. You guys love this? Magically beamed just outside of your left and right ears. You feel immersed in sound. This is one of those things where it looks like it's inexpensive enough that you'd send it to all of us. So yeah, we'll reach out to them and check it out, see if it's any good. But
you gotta you sit it on your lap. What do you do?
You just put it on your table.
But what happens if you move a little to the left or right?
Then it beams into your friend who's behind you, and he gets hit. It does look like a Bluetooth.
It just looks like a
speaker, right? It's on the table. It sits on the table.
And interesting.
I don't know if you want to put this far away. I'd love to, I'll read about it later. And immersive 3D. How far is it? Clear communicate. Because, okay, so it looks like a desktop thing though. Look, there's a laptop. It's right here. So it looks like a desktop solution. And if that's the case and you're sitting close enough, that would work. But if you're sitting a bit far, I don't know. 3.3 feet away. Audio. Oh, I see. It's audio privacy, a meter away from the listener, and no one else hears the sound. So it's a personal sound beaming technology. So it's very focused and narrow at you. Interesting. I don't know if that's how sound works, but what do you guys think? Do you guys have a need for that where you don't have the noise coming out and disturbing the kids who are sleeping or whatever?
No, I use the Sony. I use the Sony XM4s. They're fantastic. They're 30-hour batteries. I mean, the over-the-ear Sony headphones, they block out. So I wear them when I'm sleeping, when I'm not even watching something. It's just like you can't hear a damn thing. And I love those headphones. and they're indestructible. I've rolled over on them multiple times. I mean, they're the ultimate, like, if you want to have headphones or you want to listen to something yourself, those XM4 headphones are remarkably good. The 3s are good too. They're less expensive.
Hey, Meta Cordero, I saw your super chat, so let's preface it with your question. I bought a 2020 Vizio 75-inch P-Series Quantum for $1,000 at Sam's with insurance. Smart man, included for a 4-year insurance. Best Buy still sells it for $1,650 plus taxes, $300 insurance, full price. Or am I wasting $1,000? What's happening here? What's he asking?
All right, hold on. Sam's Club, insurance, sells it for plus the taxes, insurance, affordable price, or I'm wasting my time. I don't know. So wait, $1,000? Oh, he's trying to just pay more, trying to pay twice as much? I don't get it. Just
Okay,
buy
so
it at Sam's Club, man.
Yeah, buy it at Sam's Club, because
I mean,
a 4-year insurance is definitely required for any Vizio you buy, in my opinion. Oh, should I keep it until next year's? Okay, so that's his old TV. Yes, just hold on to it. Don't
wait. Can
upgrade.
you? What size was it?
So
75.
he bought this. He bought a 2020 75-inch P-Series. So last year's P-Series.
What are you going to do, man? If you're going to go up to an OLED at 77, it's going to be $3,000. So now you're paying $3,000 plus insurance. You know, like, no, you're not going to.
I can guarantee you 77-inch OLEDs will drop in price significantly next year.
75-inch TV.
Yeah,
you can't. I mean, the Vizios, if they're working, are worth $1,000 for a 75-inch typically, right? I mean, it's not a bad TV.
If you have it and it turns on, then just use it.
Yeah, if it's turning on and it's not crapping out on you every 5 minutes,
the ongoing reality of Vizio owners. Just if you have one that works, just thank the insurance. And yeah, this is a great price, by the way. $150. It's all you need is a basic player, and it has Dolby Vision, and that's it,
bro.
I would not go anything else. And
those new ones are $900, man. I'm like, I was looking at them, and I'm like, I was considering, like, oh, Robert's got something new. Let me check it out. And I'm like, oh, how much is this new DVD player? $900 for a DVD player. I'm like, I have an Xbox and I have a PlayStation. I'll just put it in there. It doesn't need to be that much better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. And it's like the next step up as far as 4K Blu-ray players would be the UB820, which is $500, sometimes on sale for $400. That's a big price jump.
So here's a question for you guys. I get this all the time. The U7G 75-inch, we know it's an IPS, but I haven't seen it personally. I just generally don't like IPS. The TCL is $1,300, and the U7G is about $1,200. Immediately, I would just say get the R646 because we already know what we're getting. Have you guys heard anything positive about the 75-inch U7G from people who actually have a sense for what this IPS is like?
Yeah, so I've been all over the forums on this, and just don't get the U7G 75.
There you go.
TCL 75, but for if you can spend $300 more, go to Costco, get the X90J 75. You get 5-year warranty to make up that $300 difference, and then you have a nearly as good performing TV that is not going to have all the bugs and issues and everything else. So
not going to argue with that.
75 inches, I think that's the best deal is the X90J at Costco.
And there you have it. Save a couple $100, save up a couple $100 more, but avoid the U7G 75-inch because that means the IPS is definitely not as good as the VA panel. That's just what it is. Hey, thanks again, Kush, for that super chat. I need to put a 65-inch TV over a fireplace, my only option. Will I see a difference between the A80J and an A80?
You mean A90 or
A9 or X90J, A80J? We're gonna ask you a question, Kirsch. Oh, A90J.
Yeah, they don't get. I mean, come on, don't get the same size A90J. Nope.
Get absolutely the 77-inch
absolutely
A80J.
That was the biggest takeaway of my video,
and it's cheaper than the 65-inch. A90J.
I have the 65-inch A90J in my bedroom, and if I'd trade it in a heartbeat for a 77 because we sit like now it's like we went from like when I got that it was like already 12 feet away. Now it's like 15 feet away, and I'm like, damn, this TV's small now. I got this whole wall. I could have put a 77 on. Now it is just for a bedroom TV, but I would in a heartbeat. Now the A90J is a fantastic TV, but you know, of course,
for the money, you can get the 77 A80 plus have 800.
Boom. Oh, I think he was going to say plus have $800 to buy some sort of soundbar or something.
Bounced right off.
Here he comes. He's coming back on. There
You
he
know,
is.
I would say, wait.
Did I complete your sentence right?
I
No,
know.
you get $800 left over for like a sound bar or whatever.
That's what I said.
No,
I
this is
said
this is
that.
what I would suggest, right? Get the 77-inch A80J plus installation included and a mantle mount. Then over the fireplace, it comes
Boom.
down.
And
or
if-
add the warranty.
Or you
Or
could
add the
just
warranty.
throw, well, that sound is fine too, but you also put a nice Sonos arc underneath it that you can pull down with the TV. That'd be dope.
Yep. Because
Mhm.
I got to show you guys the mantle mount because we talk about it all the time, and no one really sees what it is. It is just so awesome. So let me share the mantle
If you
mount.
go to the mantlemount.com, do their little video where the guy pulls it down.
Oh
It's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, the video.
There's a little
There you
video
go.
on their homepage.
Where is it? Why
Just click on
mantle
like
mount? Is that it?
mantlemount.com. There you go. Something
There you
like
go.
that.
Okay, guys,
Maybe
come on.
that one works. Here, let's move this comment.
Yeah, let me.
Where's that
Introducing
comment?
Mantle Mount, a new kind of flat screen TV mount, perfect for installations high on the wall or over a fireplace. Even your
Ooh. Oh, lost the audio.
Oh, I turned it off. I didn't want feedback from our
You
friends.
didn't want the pitch. You want the sales pitch. Adam H likes it.
I
Look
know.
at that. Look at that crappy TV. Why would you spend $700 on a mount for that crappy $200 TV he just showed?
And your neck is hurting. There you go. And
Another
guys, I
crappy
have the
TV.
83-inch. So imagine an 83-inch doing that over a
I
fireplace.
mean, honestly, the 83-inch on that mantle mount is going to look so cool, even if we're
It
not over a
is.
fireplace.
So
That's
there you go.
80. That's a 75, I think.
75, 77. Yeah.
That's like a
yep.
65.
And they have a
crappy
motorized
mount.
version, guys. So,
Yeah,
we
nobody buys that.
don't get sponsorship from Mantle Map, but I just think this is such a great solution for so many of you. And they have a $250 version at
We better not
$350,
get- We better not get hit with a copyright for showing that up. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know, right?
I'm kidding.
Mantle Mount, take it down.
No, they like it.
So
Good
yeah,
promo.
fireplace.
He can't fit a
Fireplace.
77. Yeah, just save the money and get the A80.
Yeah.
No. The difference is probably less. I would say the speakers and the I don't think it was more accurate. Master Series wasn't more accurate. Wasn't more uniform. My first one looked like crap. I think maybe a 5% benefit for as far as
for that material.
for-
If it's
5% benefit for you're paying nearly twice the price.
it has to be a specific material. We were at the shootout against the G1, all the other TVs. If you don't have the right material, it all looks the same. That's the key. And most people watching Netflix streaming, they're not going to notice a difference.
And if it's
Hey.
SDR, there's going to be no difference.
Yeah. Sports, no difference. Hey, Dragan, thanks for the super chat. Got the 77-inch C1, new to OLED. Stutter on panning has been an issue using internal apps. Did I hear you correct that Apple TV can help that a lot? Why don't you guys want to share your experience with the Apple TV and frame matching? Does it help that much?
Any external device that's going to do native like 24 hertz, like that's what you should use. If you are using the built-in apps, LG has the cinema screen setting or something.
Cinema
That does that. But
cinematic movement like that, and then it depends on again what we were talking. I mean, again, I'm no expert at this, but if it's the stutter or the judder, I believe the judder is even where it's like evenly going across the screen, like you see the response every time. Where I think stutter is when it's doing your like pull down and all that kind of stuff.
That's the judder. The stutter is the even.
Okay,
yeah,
so
the judder.
flip flop. So so just mess around with the two settings. You got de-judder, and I think you have de-stutter on those. You can customize it or whatever. It's just move them around. But yeah, the Apple TV will help. I think the Apple TV looks way better in general than the internal apps anyway. So
I do too.
I think that there's a massive benefit to getting the Apple TV just because when you're not messing around with the apps, which the apps are 100% better on the Apple TV.
Agreed.
You get a beautiful Dolby Vision like screensaver on the Apple TV. So because I think the C1 just has like the little fireworks or it just turns off. But I have my Apple TV and it's got these really cool drone shots over the cities and stuff that are dope. So Apple TV is worth it. It's a couple $100, but if you're buying a multiple $1,000 TV, just get an Apple TV. I like it.
If you want to save money, this is the new 4K Max Amazon stick.
You like it? You like it?
Yeah, I got that, and I have the Cube sitting over here, and the regular 4K 6. I'm doing a three-way.
I don't
which fire
expect
runs
any
best,
difference, but I would love to hear if there is a difference for sure. Hey, 5 points low. Thanks for the super chat, and I really like this question. I replaced my A8G, so that's the Sony 2019 OLED. That's a step below the A9G. with a 75-inch Q98. Great decision. Only problem is the AAG upscaled cable better. And this is what Sony is known for. It consistently has the best cable upscaling in the business because cable has a weird resolution with 720i, 720 whatever, and not all TVs do that very well. As a matter of fact, Sony does it the best, and it still does. And so my recommendation for people who have cable, I normally tell them if they have Sony as their alternative, go with the Sony because the motion or the upscaling I think on the Sony, it'll just look cleaner. That's been my experience with people. I don't have cable myself, but all the cable owners I know, that's the biggest difference for them, and that's why they stick with Sony. And it's even better this year, by the way, with the XR Creator.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest. Like, that's what I'm always saying. When it comes down like the LG or the Sony OLEDs, the biggest thing for me is if you're watching older content, even 1080p Blu-rays, anything low bit rate, anything not pristine quality, the Sony, that's where it gets its biggest advantage.
Yeah. And Gravy, so here's my comment for you. HTA9 for me, I hate soundbars, or rather the look of soundbars and then positioning them. I do not like it at all. And the HTA9 gives me the premium sound without the soundbar. If you don't care about having a soundbar, I definitely go and demo the Samsung HT or HWQ950A as well, because that one is also rated higher than the Cinema 1200 with any of the TVs, right? So before you do the Cinema 1200, unless you need subwoofer power, which is what this has, try the Samsung Q950A, which is I think it's about the same price now because it's discounted because it's a year old, almost a year old. It's nearing the end of its first year. But that's my comment for that. The HDNI is a great option for those who cannot have a soundbar sticking there for whatever reason, right? Ultra short throw, or there's no place to put it. But if you're okay, now that you're at this price range, you also have open to you the Sonos Arc full array, right? For what, $1,850. So, and if you are into apps, the Sonos Arc app or the Sonos app is amazing for streaming music, blah, blah, blah. So these are all lifestyle considerations that may end up being awesome.
I'm not super thrilled on playing music on the HDA9. It's a little harder. It's like I'm like got to use Spotify, and I can't get I can't get my voice assistant, what's her name, to like work onto it doesn't work really that efficiently, but you know. Sonos is easy. It is easy. It is straightforward.
And so I'd like to tell you guys, so this is just, you guys have got to separate your decision to buy the HTA9 with the TV. Get the TV because you want that TV, and then add the soundbar later. But don't get the TV after you've chosen the soundbar. The soundbar is never going to be as good of a technology as the TV. So if you go with the Z9J, it doesn't matter what soundbar you get, really. Just get the Z9J, and you have an amazing super bright TV, or the 77-inch A80J, and you have an amazing cinema TV. Once you decided on that, then go shopping for a soundbar. So
he's already got he's already got it. So
he's already got it.
He's got it. So but that advice rings true though. Like,
get the TV you want. Don't worry about it.
Don't get the HTA9 and think it's going to work with any TV. I think it will work fine with the 77 A80J. But if you got the Z9, I think you would have to use the Phantom Center. And I think the Phantom Center, like FOMO's saying, is awesome on a smaller room or medium room. And if you can turn the speakers in a little bit, it directs that Phantom Center better at you. My issue is I put them up high in the wall, like not high, but like 40 some inches. And my TV's up that high. And now everything's a little above me. So then having the TV as a center sounded better. But ideally, I may get mounts to turn those speakers in. I might lower them a bit, and then I might try the Phantom Center again. So those four speakers sound really good with the Phantom Center on. So you can use it with any TV, but I don't think you're going to use I don't think the Z9J has any exceptional speakers on it. It's still just an LED TV, and TV speakers typically aren't good. So don't use that as a center.
Yep. And this is clarification.
And both of those Sony TVs, you will be able to bring it up on screen though and change all the features of the HTA9, but you just won't want to use the center channel of the LED.
And that's very convenient. I end up using that a lot. He's already bought the Vizio. Should he keep until next year's new OLED? I say keep it for sure until not next year, but the year after. And the reason is those 83-inch OLEDs, if your room is big enough, is going to drop down in price significantly, uh, under 4,000 most likely by 2023. So if your budget is between 3 and 4,000, man, you all have available to you the 83-inch OLED in a few years or 2 years. So don't upgrade. I mean, if you're okay with it now, just hold on to it because you get some amazing size OLEDs in the future. LG is working really hard on bringing the price of the 83-inch OLED down. So, hey, this is a great question. I'm going to hit this before we leave for the day. This is about the shootout in Europe and what, here we go. What was that?
Darius.
Where did it go?
It was from Darius.
Darius. What's the
33.
timestamp?
33.
33.
Dang, I'm waiting.
Here we go. Okay. I think the Panasonic's going to win. that's just me. I've heard so many of these European reviews, and they did their own head-to-head with the Sony. They all thought out of the box. They've never seen anything so accurate where they had to do so little work to get it perfect. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. But and it has higher peak brightness, and it has better near blacks, and that's the Sony's weakness on the A90J is that near black that we saw calibrators struggling with in New York City. And I think just that alone, and
Yeah,
we know Vincent's very sensitive to near black, right? He doesn't like how Sony does it. So
he says what he says in his videos, and he goes off a whole lot more on the forums about the Sony. So
yeah,
he's not a fan.
So Sony's not going to win. It's either going to be the Panasonic or the Philips if the Philips don't do that right.
What I want to know is they're doing masks so they can't tell what model's which. But I mean, we know as soon as the signal ends, it's going to go to the screensaver. Yeah. It's really easy too, just to tell what TV is from TV after they're calibrated too. So it's like I don't see the point in masking.
Yeah, it's still good theater, and he's on.
It is good
I feel like
theater.
he'll be honest.
Unless they're going to leave the room and have someone set it up before they come back in.
Is he doing it different than last year? I think last year didn't he just give it scores? Or I mean, I don't know.
I think there's a few people there. Like he just posted like a picture of him and someone else doing calibrations and stuff. But.
Yeah.
Is the a 77-inch 80J still glossy like the A90J? Correct.
I believe it
is still glossy. I hope they didn't change it mid-year. You're going to get a lot of angry people.
No.
And let's see. Hey, Jacob Marley. Go ahead.
No, it's the 6555. It doesn't look bad. It's just a little. It's just a little different. It's not a big deal either way.
Yeah.
I didn't even mention that in my review.
I honestly don't even notice that. I've only until you guys mentioned it. I don't notice the matte because I watch everything in like just complete darkness. That's not an issue.
No.
Hey, consider high-end 2020 model versus low-end 2021 model. Both will have big discounts. I always go with the high-end previous year model because the low end, the corners cut is very obvious what they're cutting to make that margin. So like the 950H, if it was still available, I'd go with the 950H over a 90J. And no differently, I'd go with the high-end Q. I don't consider the 90T high-end, but the 90R, I'd go with the Q90R before I go with the Q80 this year, right? So
that's good advice, Jacob.
Yeah, there's not a lot of improvements year to year. Oh, here we go. Hey, Kush. Man, I love your questions. What 65-inch TV would you choose for a light-controlled room? Flipping it around, A80J or G1? I plan to get it calibrated. Which is better for motion, SR, HDR?
You can watch my video. You can check my video, man. Let me hit it up because I made a video about this. And I know Classy will have his.
And I don't have a G1, so I'm going to defer to you guys.
Listen, for me, I think that they're both fantastic. And I think that they're nearly identical. I think the processing on the Sonys is slightly better, in my opinion, motion, all that stuff. But I think it comes down to more like what you're going to use the TV for. Like if you're going to just put the G1 on a stand anyways, then what's the point of paying more for the gallery series? Classy has, I think you have it on the wall right there, right?
That's the 80.
Okay, so you went back to the 80?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. But the G1, you can put it on a Visa mount too, which is fine. But then again, you're losing the whole point of getting a gallery series flat TV. So unless you want that gallery series look against the wall, then for me, the A80J is, I like it. It's a better TV in my opinion, but they're both really good, you know?
Yeah. The problem with the 65-inch A80 is which panel do you get? The G1's going to be the new panel. And Sony, if you get the new panel on the A80, there's no software restriction like there is on a C1. So that helps. But motion I would give to the Sony. Sports and gaming, I would give to the G1. SDR, if it's lower quality content, again, it goes to the Sony. So yeah, it just all depends on what you're going to be using it for.
Yeah.
And this is it. You're paying extra for this possibility, man.
Well,
if you
that's
don't
one
plan
of them.
to, if you don't plan to have that look,
They have
the
feet though,
G1
too.
Yeah,
They
that
have
amazing
regular feet. The
Right.
G1 has regular feet too, but that's I'm not doing that with any of my TVs right there. Then where all the cords got to go and all that.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just unrealistic.
Now the G1 does get a touch brighter, and it did beat the Sony in HDR color in the shootout, and we're talking a minor victory.
Yeah,
And
But-
the tone mapping too.
Yeah, the tone tone mapping near black is more accurate, right? And that wasn't graded. So the G1's excellent, but you're not going to look at that stuff. You're going to look at lifestyle issues, right? So I'd go the larger A80J for the
You're
same
also talking a
price.
big price difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
big price difference.
Save money with the A80 unless
And
you're serious about gaming.
And I think motion consistently, you'll find it sitting on the Sony that you like more easily than any other TV. And with upscaling of cable, if you have a cable source, it's a no-brainer.
That's one thing. It's
Yeah.
I thought that this year's LGs look better than last year's LGs, but there's a big difference in like the noise and upscaling. You know, the Sonys look a lot cleaner.
Yep, they're all considerations.
Like
and I think
said,
lifestyle
like
is
lower
big.
res stuff. Res stuff. You put a good source into the LG though, it looks really good too. You know,
this is excellent for sports critique.
Yeah, they don't have nearly as much pixelation on like as some of the OLEDs do on sports. Sometimes the sports can get pretty beat up on OLEDs.
Answer is yes. We don't know to what degree it'll be ready in terms of is this a final product, but we'll definitely see prototypes at CES, but it might be by special invitation only. So, Classy, are you going to Vegas this year, or any of you guys? I know I'm going, but I don't know if you guys are going.
We got to figure out where we're going to stay, man.
So if we go,
did you already do it? Okay.
Yeah. I bought tickets. Well, not bought.
Did you get a hotel?
We're media, so I have an office there. So my our business team has a home there that I just hang out there when I go. But
what?
Yeah, because my other office is in Las Vegas. I used to commute to Vegas. It's crazy. But because of the whole COVID thing, I get to stay here. But yeah, I'll be in Vegas. I'll be with the locals and out in Summerlin. However,
I'm staying at a hotel, man. I'm going to stay right next to wherever it is. We got to figure it out. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, well, what you just said is right. You have to, because I think it's so spread out. You almost have to stay at the Venetian, basically. But better to get the tickets now, though, because they're going to sell out. And I was going to say, we have to reach out to Robert ASAP so he could put us on the list of special guests so we can get into the Samsung private showing, the LG private showing, and the Sony private showing, because he is a pinnacle diamond dealer for all of them, basically. So if he designates us as his rep, we'll be there. Boom. So yeah, if it's there, we'll see it.
I'm gonna have to get going here, guys. I'm already.
Oh yeah. Let's wrap it up, guys. Okay, so if you guys have any last questions, let us know. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap up in 1 minute.
Oh, we're gonna have an after party, Rick. You're gonna see. There's gonna be a live, man. You're definitely gonna see a live. Sorry, bud.
Yep. It's just as long as it's in a place where was it?
When is CES anyway?
January 4th.
Okay.
It's from Wednesday through the weekend. So
January I'm going to New York the week before, and then I'm going to Florida for this ISF stuff like the week after. So
we'll keep you posted. I'll be hobbling around with the cast on, I'm sure.
And you are right. If it's an ADS, it's gonna suck. So I apologize that you have an ADS QN90A, yet another region that lied. It should not be an ADS panel. So yeah, ADS is not going to be good. Okay, guys, let's wrap up. Thank you for showing. Oh man, Anthony,
nice.
Caught you just in time.
Thanks, Anthony.
We will ask your question, and then everyone else, hold on to your super chats until next time. Thank you for thinking of us, and don't forget to click like as we answer Anthony Montoya's question. Hey B, can a 77-inch LG G1 be reliably mounted on one stud since the bracket is so small, or should I add a wood block between the two studs? This is all you, man.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That is a good question. You can't offset it a little bit more. I mean, it probably needs to be centered in that area. That bracket is really strong. So I would say, like, I'm not giving you advice. Do not like just do it based on what I'm saying. But
Buy homeowners insurance.
yeah, if you were to mount that on one stud in the middle, and then put like 4 toggle bolts in the corners, that's probably what I would do if I had that issue. Taking out the drywall and putting a block between and then putting the drywall back on, it can be done and that could be good. You'd have to screw it in really well on the ends. But then you're still, I don't know. I would say it probably can be done. The mount doesn't move much. It's a very strong little mount. So I think you just do that, put it against the wall. That would be what I would do, but you got to, I'm not at your house to see what you're doing, but yeah.
Yep. And also Best Buy, they also install, if you're a Total Tech Support member, they'll do it for $50 and they will tell you.
Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to do it.
Then they're not going to do that. They're not going to install it. They'll tell him nope. And he'll have to pay for another company to come out and all that. So yeah, I don't know. I think you can get away. Yeah. Use some bigger bolts maybe.
There you go. Now, we all love cliffhangers. So before we sign off, let me put out a cliffhanger right here. FOMO, what do you think of the future TV will be in 5 years? I will answer that on the next Pass the Remote, everyone. So until next time, thank you, Classy, for coming by and answering those technical questions for us.
Yeah, I'll have an off-topic stream tonight at 7:30.
Oh,
you're doing tonight?
Classy's got a stream.
Yep, just like a game and relaxing stream. So.
Yeah,
nice, man.
It's a weekend, man. Let's game and relax.
And Brandon, I'll come and I'll give you some shit. I'll come and text.
Well, he has his foot up on a stool, right? Okay, guys.
Dude, I'm so annoyed.
Thank you, everybody.
I got a 4-way OLED. Go check it out. Check out the 4-way OLED video, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yes, check out his 4-way OLED video. Until next time, pass the remote. And don't forget to click like.